Mind itself has no objectifiable reality. But for countless lifetimes, we have not recognized this. As a result, we have given rise to the notion of self, or I. This notion of I is the ego. It creates its own projections, an entire sphere of its own. This sphere is nothing but the projection of the ignorant ego, but we don't recognize this and think it is something else. From this arises the duality of subject and object. The object is the world or environment we find ourselves in, and the subject is the individual or ego that regards itself as perceiving the field. This perception of otherness gives us the feeling of being in a multifarious environment that is external to ourselves. The relationship between the ego and its realm causes us to discriminate between what benefits and what harms. As a further result of these discriminations, we develop notions of aversion and desire. We desire things that we think are good for us and feel aversion toward things we consider harmful. So, by not recognizing the essentially non-objectifiable nature of the mind, we have created defilements and our own confusion. It is not particularly important whether we assume the role of a monk. What is crucial is to trust that actions have inevitable results in accordance with the working of karma. The source of all conditioned events is attachment to duality. The basic duality of an ego and the field in which the ego is structured. As long as there is duality, there are causes and results, samsara and nirvana, demons and gods, bad and good, birth and death and rebirth. Without attachment to duality, there is no cause and result, no bad and good, no samsara and nirvana, also no dharma, no teachings, no path, and nothing whatsoever to do. Basically, what we must do in dharma practice is transcend duality. When we recognize the ego to be a fallacy, the duality of realm and ego disappears and everything becomes a field of total evenness. We will inevitably feel that we have been improved by practicing dharma and that we have learned something or developed some kind of positive qualities or understanding. This may lead to feelings of pride. At the moment of feeling pride, the field of observation is that pride itself. We are caught in the dual structure of pride and ego. At that moment, we should examine the nature of that pride. It could not be anything in itself. No matter how long one examines pride, one will never find anything that is pride, nor will one find any source for its arising. Furthermore, one will see that pride is not permanent and will be less inclined to trust it. Eventually, one will recognize the emptiness of the prideful conception and understand the meaning of emptiness through pride itself. On the other hand, if one allows pride to take control, one will lose the sense that there is anything wrong with dual structures. Having been caught in duality, one will assume the existence of an individual as an entity. Due to pride, an idea will arise, such as, I am very learned, and he doesn't know anything. And one will be insulting or aggressive. One will thus create a lot of bad karma and make others unhappy, creating difficulties for oneself and ultimately isolating oneself from the world. In this way, one will become more entangled in the web of samsara. When feeling aversion, we should look to see where it is and why we project an object of aversion. An object of aversion is no more than a formulation of the mind. We become angry with our own projection, a projection of the ego ignorantly created through a failure to recognize the nature of mind. Therefore, we should look at the nature of the mind creating these projections. Strong tendencies to objectify and solidify a particular reality will then drift away. We will feel very relaxed, light, and happy, and we will become calm about everything. Sometimes we feel pain and are unhappy. Sometimes we meet friends and are happy. Sometimes we are separated from our friends and are unhappy. Sometimes we become involved in a close relationship with someone and feel happy in that relationship, and when it breaks up, we feel unhappy again. We feel sad and depressed. We can't eat, we can't sleep, and we cry. So we try to do something about it. We go out and get drunk, and perhaps this makes us feel a little better. Then we come around in the morning and feel depressed again. In this way, we get involved in a cycle of suffering and happiness. When involved in such feelings, we should constantly observe the nature and condition of the mind. So when we are happy, when a relationship breaks up, or when we are separated from our friends, we should observe the nature and condition of the mind. Although we will still feel those emotions, we will also feel an evenness running through unhappiness and happiness. When happy, we will recognize emptiness through happiness. And when unhappy, we will recognize emptiness through unhappiness. This practice is called the same taste of happiness and unhappiness. We all travel from one place to another and find ourselves in varying circumstances, some unpleasant and some pleasant. The Buddhist view is that these conditions are due not to external forces, but to our own karma. So when involved in bad or good circumstances, we should watch the nature of the mind. We will experience the evenness running through bad and good conditions, and we will be able to recognize emptiness through them. This practice is called the same taste of bad and good conditions. A good number of people who practice dharma are able to overcome bad conditions, to avoid being controlled by them and work through them. But it's much more difficult to use good conditions and much easier to be controlled by good conditions than by bad ones. There are relatively few people who can work with good conditions and continue in their pure practice of dharma. When people become rich, when they are in comfortable circumstances, and everybody considers them to be good and praises them, at those times it is difficult to feel that everything is a manifestation of the mind and mere appearance. Appearances are neither beneficial nor harmful. No appearance, however bad it may be, ever harms anything. No appearance, however good, ever improves anything. I can't speak about the West, but certainly Easterners find it particularly difficult to deal with favorable conditions. Even if they can use bad conditions and persevere without being controlled by them, when people find themselves in favorable circumstances, they really like them, are controlled by them, and lose their practice of same taste. It's especially important to handle good circumstances carefully. Someone who is practicing Dharma but hasn't developed very much in meditation might not treat a poor person particularly well. But if he met a rich person who might be useful to him, he would probably treat him considerably better. This would be a sign that he couldn't practice same taste in favorable circumstances. All types of attitudes towards Dharma can be found wherever Dharma has been spread. But in the West, I came across one that I had not observed in the East. People would say, his Dharma practice is very good, he is very strong, and they would put a lot of emphasis on strength. From a worldly point of view, strength is certainly something that helps us get our work done. But the strength these people point out seems to be ego strength, and a tough, resilient ego isn't particularly useful in Dharma. If we continually practice same taste and so experience the evenness of all conditions, we will not be proud when we develop great qualities. We will not feel depressed or aggressive under unfavorable conditions. We will never develop pride or have an erratic nature, but will become strong through the practice of same taste. This is what is meant in Dharma by strength. Ego strength is counterproductive because ego is impermanent. However much ego strength we build up, it is impermanent and will eventually break down. By practicing same taste, we will develop the strength of egolessness. If we develop this strength, we will spontaneously recognize primordial wisdom, which will enable us to build the true strength of Dharma.